Good morning, mate. What's happening? Wednesday, middle of the week. You winning or are you a bit behind? We don't lose, do we? I mean, we do. There's always time to catch up. Today, we're going to write it down. We are going to move the needle. So, job from me to you today, no more than 3 things. Write them down. Listen, what can I look back on when I get to 10 o'clock tonight and say, yeah, if I did that, the needle got moved and I would be all right with that. Because you know what? There's a million things that'll come up during the day that need your attention, that rob your attention. But if you wake up this morning, or even did it last night, 3 things that you could do today, where if you look back on today, you go, yeah, needle moved. Do that, and let's see where it takes us. And that's stacking up wins. Move the needle every single day, which you're not gonna, but that's what we do. We wake up in the morning with the intention to move the needle. We ain't festering. We're getting up, we're getting after it, come rain, come shine, and we are trying to move the needle. That's purpose. And that's stacking wins. So, homework from me this morning. I want to know your 3 things. And honestly, it can be absolutely dumb simple. If you let the pots grow in the kitchen, if you've got your laundry basket overflowing, if you've got the fucking mail that you haven't answered. There's 3. And do you know what? Write them down, chalk them off. Did I do them? Mega. You know, you don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to get 20,000 steps in. You don't have to fucking read a book. And do you know what? Like, I see all these different content creators and people that journal and fucking this, that and the other. I don't. Too busy for that shit. Also, not really good at that fucking creative writing kind of caper. Today, I am grateful for... Go fuck yourself. How about that? I ain't doing that. I'm not grateful for fucking being alive, I guess. But no, I ain't got that, like, fucking... I can't do it. But what I can do is, did I fucking win the day? Alright, sick. So that's your homework for today. Now, the reason that you're here, probably, I assume, is that big ass dog again. He's come running over. Henry, let's have a look. He's come running over. So, don't know if he's coming over for a bark or if he's coming over to say hello or just give us a head tilt. I don't know. What are you saying, our kid? What are you saying? We're being a big Henry dog today? Or we're just being a nice little pooch? What are we saying? No, he's not Henry today. I wasn't on his to-do list today. Shout at that fella talking to himself in the rain. Was not on. Don't know, should give him a name. Looks like the dog out of Gladiator, doesn't it? Let's call him Maximus. Right, what was he talking about? Oh yeah, the reason that he's here today. Saw Michael Carrick's name a lot yesterday and last night, late last night. Being linked with the interim job means it's over, that, doesn't it? Just like when you get into the final stages of a transfer and you start hearing about it just started gobbing off. There's no one there though. He's just on a timer maybe. When you start hearing about how much a player's getting and how long the contract is, that normally you start to go, yeah, this is over the line, this. Those are the small details that only come out once it's done. The thinking about a bid, blah, blah, blah. Even sometimes the price, don't really get that until it's done. You know, when people start talking about add-ons, contract lengths, that sort of stuff, you're in the home straight. And I feel like with gaffers, it's a bit similar. When you start hearing about the talking to this manager, Javi's out here throwing his hand up going, go on, give us a bit of that. You start hearing that Michael Carrick's been softly inquired about whether he'd take over as interim. He started to go, okay, it's over, innit? You know, and then I saw something from Nathan Salt saying that as it looks, as far as Amorim's aware, he's still in charge for Sunderland. You're like, fucking hell, this is ominous, innit? We are literally just marking time until the end here. I don't like being in this cycle. I don't like the drama of football. I like football. I like the craft. I like technical football. I like players that can drop a shoulder and have a defender jump 2 yards out the way of them. I like fucking half volleys that just fucking nestle in the joint. I like a big fucking crunching tackle. Ball and all. Safe. Legal. Got the fucking lot. Carted them. I love a fucking perfectly weighted pass to the correct foot and someone can get on a turn immediately. Open up the hips and play the ball forward. I fucking love the craft of good football. I love a fucking perfectly whipped in free kick that a big stupid centre half can get his head on and fucking bullet it back across to the opposite side of the goal. Or even a fucking Beckham style whippers over the wall and under the bar. I love that. I don't like this fucking drama shit. Because we're only playing one fucking game a week, what do we have to talk about? Kim managers, people getting sacked, it's shit. Pisses me off. Michael Carrick then. Sounds like he might be the interim option. There was another detail that I saw last night as well, which was INEOS thinks somebody with English football knowledge potentially rules Javi out, if it's true. Stacks up to the reason Michael Carrick's name has probably come into the mixer for the interim job at least. Why? Well, the Brentford game possibly typifies this. And I understand this in the context of Xavi. Not every game is Elche. Not every game. When you think about Ten Hag and Amorim, both of them took over clubs that are very, very big in their country. Both of them took over clubs that have won the league, but hadn't won it for a minute. Ajax was a lot less. It was only like 2 or 3 seasons. Sporting had been a little bit longer, I think. Benfica and Porto had kind of dominated that league for a bit. But certainly, both of them was at clubs where, when it's going well, they're in the mix for a title. You could argue Manchester United are also that, until recently. But the Premier League is perhaps unique in that the teams at the bottom are way more interested in trying to stick it on you than some of the clubs at the bottom of La Liga, of the Portuguese Superliga, of the Eredivisie. And maybe the Grimsby game typifies that. And maybe it even caught Lou van Gaal off guard when he went to MK Dons. I'm not going to use the cliche of there's no easy games in English football. There are easy games. Or easier games for sure. But because English football is fucking second balls and about competing, because of the uniquely warrior, fervent island of lunatics that we are, we fucking love a scrap. And we want our football to represent that. Because football's tribal warfare. Ultimately. Because of that, English football crowds aren't having teams that don't fucking compete. They're not having teams that will quit on you. They're not having teams that don't fucking run. We're just not. So because of that, the football in this nation, and half the time the bastard weather, has made it that we love a 50-50 and we love a fucking little prick midfielder that's just going to stick his foot in all the time. And we better make it hard. Who's coming to tap? And because of the uniquely, who the fuck do they think they are, attitude that persists in this rain-sodden fucking island of ours, we're not having anyone quit on us. It's how we conquered the fucking world, mate. Because we think we're better than we are. That's a uniquely British thing. Who are these lot? Fuck them. It's how we conquered the entire world. We love the discipline. We love the fucking scrap. So what does that mean? It means English football is a fucking bar fight. It means you can't settle. And if you do, that opposition over there ain't read the script. And they're going to come and stick it on you. And physicality, work rate, 50-50s, set plays, they're a fucking leveller at every level. And so is the weather sometimes, and pitch, which is like why you saw an increase in sort of disparity in the Premier League, which people tell you it's the most competitive it's ever been, it's the least competitive it's ever been, and it's provable by the fact that there's been point drift since 1993 onwards. And the fact that all the promoted teams go straight back down again. So, what does that mean? It means INEOS wants someone who understands, that's maybe played English football and can impart onto his players. Hey, we might be playing Grimsby, but this is not an easy game. And you need to mind your P's and fucking Q's. And you better be up for it like you're playing Real Madrid at home, because that's what they think they're playing. And maybe every manager can understand that. Maybe every manager can get a grip of that. Maybe they can. Maybe they can't. Took Pep a little bit of adaptation to understand that. With all the riches and benefits that he had as being Manchester City manager. And yeah, to be fair, he understood it. But it took him a while to wrap his head round. It's transitional, but so is Ligue 1 and so does the Bundesliga. And they're both very fast transitional, but maybe it's a unique element of English football where it's uniquely transitional. And I'm not articulate enough to fully explain why, but there's got to be something in it. So INEOS wants someone with a knowledge of English football, which definitely narrows the field when it comes to potential suitors. But it also shows why, probably, Michael Carrick's name has appeared upon a shortlist. So Michael Carrick then, is he any good? We had a good record at United, I think it was 50%. Was it 4 games, 2 wins, a draw and a loss? Something like that. Wasn't that exactly what Giggs did as well? How did he do at Middlesbrough? Well, I don't know what the transfer situation with Middlesbrough was. I think they lost, either sold or an injury or something, one of their main strikers last year. And I know there was a little bit of complaining that they weren't quite creative enough. They played lovely football. They played a hell of a lot of possession football. And actually Michael Carrick's record is one of the better Middlesbrough records of all time. Now, I don't know how much of that is because he existed in the Championship and therefore existed near the top where you're approaching, like, I think his record's like 46, 47%. That's actually a good record. Like I said, it's certainly one of their best records. Is it Nico Crankia? No. Someone's got a similar record in a similar sort of like 150, 160 sort of games. Farmer here with a big pile of white shit. What is that? Anyone know what that is? Wonder what's going on here. Anyway, So his record is very good. It certainly stacks up there as one of the best 2 or 3 Middlesbrough records ever. Now, obviously, he delivered no trophies, and the reason he went was because he wasn't able to convert that success into playoff success and a promotion. Some ducks down here. What's going on, duckies? Let's go see these ducks. Oh, they're all fucking off. They don't want to talk about Michael Carrick. Right, so why did he get the bullet? They weren't able to transfer good results and a pretty solid record into actually getting into the Premier League, which is where every sort of football owner wants to get themselves, to taste the manna that's in there. So they fucked him off. Now, some of the criticisms of Michael Carrick as a manager were that he was a little bit inflexible and a little bit stubborn, and you go, But like I've always said, on some levels, I'm not mad at that. You don't want a manager that every single week changes his plan, because 1, the players will never learn it, and 2, it shows he's weak. Every manager almost has to be deluded into thinking that they uniquely know football better than anybody else, right? Yeah, they have to. They have to think that they've got the secret sauce from Cantona himself on how football should be played. And they have to deludedly think that only they can deliver it. Otherwise, why would you be a manager? You can't manage by committee, and you can't manage by, okay, we're going to play 3-5-2 today and we're going to press high and we're going to try and win every ball and defend on the halfway line, and then get spanked and then go, right, we're going to play 4-4-2 low block next week. Players were like, prick don't have a clue. And then the week after, 4-3-3. And we're going to hit the wings and try and cross it in the box. Fucking strikers 5'8", you know better what we're talking about. So managers do have to be stubborn, but there also has to be, contradictorily, is that even a word? They also do have to be adaptable, because the game is winning. You have to win. It's as simple as that. So Michael Carrick was stubborn. He played possession-based football, but it was probably one of the best records Middlesbrough's ever got. Has his reputation gone up or down since he's been at Middlesbrough? I don't know, you know. I don't think it's gone down, but I don't necessarily think it's improved. I think he's just kind of stayed where it is because he didn't achieve wild success, and he also didn't completely shit the bed. I'll tell you this though, he's done a lot of learning. A lot of learning. And I think one thing to remember with the little trio that we had with Ollie, McKenna and Carrick was it was 3 minds. Now, what percentage you attribute each part of their time at Manchester United to each person in terms of both credit and blame, I can't tell you. But it was a 3. So for everyone saying, get Ollie back, what you might actually be saying is get Michael Carrick back. What you might actually be saying is get Kieran McKenna back. But what you're really saying is, can we get them 3 back? And I think the answer to that is, fucking no. Them 3 have scattered to the winds. They've continued on with their lives in 3 different directions. And also, what you might also be saying is get Mike Phelan back. You know, there are very important jobs in coaching that some people can do and some people can't do. Sometimes the manager's got to be ultra focused on just everything that's going on with the team. And you might need a bloke like a Mike Phelan that maybe isn't as authoritative, that maybe he's there as a bit of a thermometer. How's the mood in the changing room? It's a little bit down. I think they need a day off, or now they're raring to go. Fucking double session them. Let's get the best out of this. You need a confidant like that. You know, maybe McKenna was the tactician. Maybe Ollie was the motivator. Maybe Carrick was the technical sort of coach. You know, when you think back to what Sir Alex had, what was successful with him, I mean, he had so many assistants, from Brian Kidd to Steve McLaren, Archie Knox prior to that, but it was before my time, so I don't really know what he was about. Brian Kidd was the first one I remember. You know, all the way through to Rennie Mullenstein. But they weren't the only ones there. Mike Phelan was there. You had Mick Clegg there as your power coach. But the way he talks, he's a fascinating listen, by the way. You know, the way Mick talks, absolutely fascinating. And very charismatic dude. And there'll be psychology that he's imparting into the players that was beneficial. You know, how much did Cristiano Ronaldo's development come through that? How much of what was going well with Fergie and the academy players in his time was because Brian McClare was part of that setup? A fucking phenomenal football brain. Do you know what I mean? So, how much of what's going right and wrong with Ruben Amorim is the people that he surrounds himself with? How much of what was good and bad about Rasmus Højlund and the contrast in him between the two seasons was Benny McCarthy working with him? You know, and who's doing that with the players now? Football is a team game on and off the pitch. You know, you need a team to be a manager as much as you need a team when you're a player. Yes, the manager is the guy that's headline, rise and fall, but there's a full team. If your goalkeeper coach is shit and giving duff advice to your goalkeeper like stay in your 6-yard box, you're going to fucking lose more. If your striking coach is crap and he doesn't understand how to get the best out of your strikers, you're struggling. So, do I think Michael Carrick will end up as interim boss at United? I think there's a strong chance, yeah. If you said gun to my head right now, what's going to happen? I think it'll be Carrick until the end of the season, and then whoever appointed from the summer, because interims have gone so well for us in the past, haven't they? Not really, but yeah, I don't know if I want it. I don't really want another interim. It feels like you're just waiting on a rebuild again, and you know what I mean? I like to stack the wins. I like to fucking hit forward momentum, and an interim is not forward momentum. It's marking time. It's pause while we figure out this fucking shit show. Innit? Anyway. I think what we can safely say is Ruben Amorim's time at Manchester United is all but done. All we have to fill in is the day that he goes. It might be weekend if it's not a good performance against Sunderland. Does it buy him time? Honestly, I don't know. Because I just don't see us beating Liverpool. I can see that Liverpool game looming large, like the angel of death, just waiting. And there's something about that being Liverpool which pisses me off as well, that they get to do that to us. Anyway, have a good productive Wednesday, everyone. Move the needle, stack your wins. And if you want to support the channel, either become a member, there'll be a video dropping for you lot today, or come and join Patreon and you can get access to the Telegram group. Take it easy, everyone. See you in the next one. Laters.